Okay, we're ready to call it to order.
Okay, let's call this meeting to order, and I guess we need to approve the minutes, or do we, from last time? We didn't have a meeting last time, did we?
No, but the minutes still need to be approved from the July 6th meeting.
They do need to be approved from the July 6th meeting?
Correct.
Okay.
I will do a really quick roll call. So Commissioner Lean.
Here?
Commissioner Case.
Here.
Kyle Tarbett.
Here.
City Administrator Mike Rizzatello.
Here.
Finance Director Brian Carlton.
Here.
And then myself. Jeff Lambert is excused. He was unable to make the meeting tonight. And at this time, Bill Clemens, Commissioner Clemens and Commissioner Fuchs are not in attendance at this time. Okay.
Okay. So are we on to approving the minutes from last meeting?
Yeah.
So we'll need
Okay.
to approve the consent agenda, which includes approving the agenda for today, approving the minutes, and excusing the absence of Jeff Lambert. And let me share my screen so you guys can all follow along. Can you see it?
Yes,
Okay,
Perfect.
that helps. Thank you.
of course.
From July 6th. Okay, so I need, I guess, to have a motion to approve the agenda and the minutes. Can we do that in one motion?
Yes, that would be a motion to approve the consent agenda, which approves all of them.
Okay, so
Madam
we need
Chairman,
to,
I move that we approve the consent agenda.
I second.
all in favor,
Aye.
say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. And then now we need to go on to reports and turn that over to.
Okay. So the first one, Carolyn, do you need to go over anything with the discussion protocol for virtual meetings?
It's basically there to help guide you guys for how you would raise your hand if you have questions during the meeting process for electronic meetings. It's going to be there at every one of our agenda packets for you guys to reference. And so nothing else really needs to be said other than it just kind of gives you a guide for how to do that.
Okay, great. We'll go at item 3.02, and this is provided because about 2 months ago, I asked that you please review the study, and I mean, likely this could be continued to like the next meeting, because you know, it's important for the economic vitality of our downtown corridor. But some time ago, there was a traffic assessment done by DN Traffic Consultants of the College Avenue corridor, because ever since College Avenue was redone, there's been a lot of back and forth in the community about if it's like designed to the most optimal use. Like for instance, on South College, if the traffic lanes are good or are they not good. Same with the speed limit, because it is variable, where there's sections of it that have are 30 and then 25. Same thing with bicycles as well, and then even the hawk signals at the university. So the report is a massive report, but I'll touch over the salient points of it. And also a piece of advice we got from another City Advisory Commission. So I don't know if you all know this, but the city also does have Utility and Transportation Advisory Commission, which has residents, business owners, and people interested in utility and traffic items that meet once a quarter to give advisory opinions similar to you all on items within that realm of subject matter. So earlier this summer, the Utilities and Transportation Advisory Commission, they actually met for a very long period of time, 3 hours, to debate the subject matter, and they actually came out with some recommendations. So I'll go through that because those recommendations will, at a certain point in time, will go to City Council, but especially since that it has businesses on it, we feel EdTech really needs to provide an opinion on this. The first one is College Avenue traffic pattern, striping, and configuration. The UTAC recommendation was actually leave the left turn lanes as they currently are because the road's been in place long enough for people are starting to follow it. When it was reconfigured, the zigzag nature of the traffic lanes puzzled people, but it seems like people are starting to follow it, and there's a concern people would get confused again. Second item is College Avenue site distance triangles. So what this is at every intersection with College Avenue within the code, there in most areas of town, there's like the site triangle where technically if you're waiting to go like a left turn on College Avenue or left turn on any other street, there should be like an area of viewpoint where really there shouldn't be like a building in the way. The thing is in most areas, the site distance triangle, like in the city code, ranges based on like your speed limit, where it goes like about like 8 to like 20 feet, depending on how big of a road you're talking about. But the extenuating circumstance with the site triangle code is that in most streets, your sidewalk, either there is no sidewalk or there's like a 4 or 5 foot wide sidewalk. And since College Avenue was rebuilt, the sidewalk is 10 feet wide. So I mean, it gives you quite a bit of extra room to see into the street. So this was definitely a subject of much debate. The UTAC board recommended to defer it and have staff provide additional research. Likely we will have a consultant take this on because so EdTech is aware of the situation. Our city engineer who was taking on this project a couple weeks ago unexpectedly passed away. So this is something that we'll try to find a consultant look into. College Avenue speed limit. The recommendation of UTAC was to set the speed limit consistently where it doesn't like jump all over the place. Bicycle accommodations. This is a key thing here because there's been some debate about should bikes still be on College Avenue? Should the bike route move to Bade? What should happen with bikes? And in general, what the UTAC committee really looked at doing was essentially putting up just bike route signage along College Avenue to try to provide for the safety. And then in certain situations, like if kids are just learning to ride like with parental supervision, then certain areas maybe they could learn to ride on the sidewalk since College Avenue is a very busy street. Other things is that there was some debate about the hawk signals because as we all know, there's a lot of debate about their effectiveness up by the university. The UTAC decided to table the issue just because it's a very expensive thing to fix. And over time, people seem to be getting used to it, but some were going to continue to monitor though. And then for bus stops at intersections, the UTAC asked that we work with Valley Transit to evaluate each bus stop location, because just over time, there's been some concern that maybe that needs to be tweaked a little bit so that way people utilize that more. But yeah, you'll see the minutes of the UTAC and then the traffic assessment, and then the memorandum just detailing specific items. So with that, if there's any comments or questions or things you would like us to look into further, because likely at the next meeting, this will go before you, so you could provide a vote as to a decision point to the items in which UTAC came to a consensus vote.
Okay.
So Mike, are there any of these that you have concern over?
I mean, put it this way, that the one that I would say that I have concern over a little bit just is that whole site distance triangle issue, because I am aware of some cities where they like changed up the site triangles a little bit for certain areas and then got sued for it. However, I think as long as the cities I'm aware of that got sued for it, they got sued because they didn't have a licensed engineer like change what the site distance triangle was. The council just decided to ad hoc do it. And then they got sued because, especially in the state of Washington, traffic engineering, it's viewed as a form of engineering in which you should really be having a license to provide the recommendations to change the built network like that. So I would say that is my biggest concern. So I mean, for that one, that's why I really think we need someone with a stamp to tell us what to do with the site distance triangles. But I mean, with the other ones, I think given what we have, especially when you couple it with like the cost to do things differently, I think it makes sense. The bicycle accommodation one, that's another one I feel a bit strongly about. I think as long as we do some sharrows, some bike route signage, and then change the code a little bit where like kids could like practice on bikes on some of the wider sidewalks, I think that would be fine. Because the fact of the matter is to build out like marked bike lanes, you'd be talking like hundreds of thousands of dollars because that road was designed that way because of the extreme right-of-way constraints. So that flavors the issue a bit. But those are just some of the things that I picked up on.
So number 3, what was the recommendation? They wanted the speed limit to be the same just from Rose Street to Cedar Bend?
Yeah.
Where is Cedar Bend? Where does that take off?
So Cedar Bend is that street that's just south of Lamperty. So it goes into
Okay,
the original Hayden Homes subdivision.
right, okay.
And the idea there was to have the speed limit consistently at like 25 miles an hour, because from Cedar Bend up to Rose Street, it's weird. It like jumps all over the place, and that's not really good.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Is there any other thoughts or comments by anyone else on the commission about this subject matter?
Not for me.
Okay. Kelly?
No, I'm good.
Kyle?
Nope.
Okay. Okay, well then with that, the items with the exception of the site distance triangle, it will come back to you the next month for a recommendation of concurrence. If I can get a consultant on board in a cost-effective manner, do a site distance triangle, hopefully I can do it within that time frame. But otherwise, that'll just come as a standalone item later on. So that way, at least we could get these other items going, because site triangles are a little bit different than like the rest of it. So the everything else is like operational. That's like a combination land use operational thing. So this will come back next meeting.
Okay.
Okay. Next item would be Couch Place Farmers Market update. Carolyn, could you provide the update on everything that's like going on?
Sure. So we have 2 market days left in our market season. This year has been quite a bit different as compared to years prior. This is our 4th year for the market. And because of COVID-19, I needed to make sure that we worked closely with the county and also with the Washington State Farmers Market Association to ensure that we could even hold the market. So there was quite a few things that I had to implement and then make sure that continual checking with the county, it would be okay to go ahead and hold the market. So some of the safety measures that are in place are on this this presentation. And so these were implemented because the state of Washington Department of Health gave the guidelines for what they wanted all of the farmers markets in Washington to use. They wanted everyone to make sure that they addressed each of the specific items. And so all of these items were addressed. And with that, we had to change the layout. It was one-way traffic with the entrance on the south end of Lions Park going through over to 8th Street with as the exit. And we've actually closed 8th Street during the market so that we could have vendor parking on this area. It's grown. I'll give you some numbers here in just a minute after we finish this presentation. This year we have SNAP and SNAP Market Match. These are new to our farmers market and have, I feel, brought in quite a bit more customers. It's been really, really a good program. Both of them have. We also have WIC and senior benefits. So that's continued from last year, which is a good program also. And so when we were in phases 1 and 2, we initially implemented the market with essential vendors only. And some of these items were what we had to basically have as guidelines and rules. We can't have anyone eat at the market. They're just designed, it's just designed for them to come shop, support small local businesses and leave, take their purchases and go home. Any of the food that is done, that's by prepared, that food vendors that do prepared food have to actually provide the food to the customers in to-go containers. So they're not eating it there. It's not encouraging it. So this presentation was originally created close to Market Day 8, and now we're in we had Market Day 15. So this week is Market Day 16. So our numbers have basically doubled, and I'll show you later, but these are the categories that we track by for the Farmers Market Association, and annually we have to report these numbers, the gross sales from each vendor as a whole to the Farmers Market Association. And that's one of their requirements to participate. In addition, SNAP and SNAP Market Match, the two new programs, we do have to report our sales numbers through different categories, which I'll show you in just a minute. But it's the same numbers, just categories in different categories. So we have a variety of vendors, all of these type vendors. And we also have, well, I guess handcrafted would be under artisan vendors. So that is the presentation, and then I will show you. This right here is a spreadsheet that I've been keeping track of every market day. Our gross numbers by category. On the left-hand side here, you'll see the Washington State Farmers Market calculation numbers. And we're supposed to have a goal of 51% of the market sales in these two categories, farm fresh products, products and value-added farm foods over the other categories. And so as we've gone through the season, we've gotten really close, and it's kind of gone down a little bit. From last Thursday, I still have 2 vendors that need to report their sales. So the numbers will change a little bit, but these categories are for the SNAP and SNAP Market Match, and they're categorized differently. We have to have 50% of the gross market sales for SNAP and SNAP Market Match. In this category, which we're super close, we're 3% within, and we'll probably actually make that once I get the 2 reported numbers for market day 15. And so we also have to track what we're doing for the SNAP tokens, which is food stamps, and then how much we give, how much are redeemed by the vendors. So that's what the customers have spent each market day. And then this is our customer count column. So this season we've had 5,443 customers come to the market, and that is it's closer than last year because we have a single entrance and a single exit, but it's nearly impossible to get customers to go through one entrance. They always go through somewhere else other than the entrance. So I think that number actually could probably go up to 6,000 over the whole market season so far. And our vendor counts, they're up. This coming week, we have approximately 20 vendors that are scheduled to be there. This is the average temperature. In the end of July, we had a week that it was 105 degrees and it was just too hot, too hot. Anything over 100, I think we're probably going to end up calling it and saying, no, we're not going to do the market today. And if you'll notice, the sales were down too. They were all the way down to 3,000. But here is also a running total of where we are for 2020 as compared to 2019 when we didn't have COVID. So I feel overall we're doing really well. There's that. That's what I have for farmers market. Does anyone have questions?
No, I think that all looks really good to me. I mean, I'm surprised that I mean the numbers are just very close to 2019.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think you've done an excellent job, Carolyn. I mean, that's a lot of detail.
Thank you. Thanks.
Yeah, I think the city should feel good about that. And I love your spreadsheet.
Yeah.
Thank you. So I'll go back to do you want me to just go ahead and proceed with Light Up the Avenue? Yeah. Okay. So the idea, I believe we've talked about this before with you guys, but I'll just go through it again quick. The idea is, since we're unable to do Winterfest and we had to cancel Fall Festival because of COVID, we also had to cancel Freedom Festival because of COVID. So there was money budgeted for all of those events. So, and there's also, I believe, a little bit of money left over from the farmers market. I'm not sure how much exactly, but all of those together. Mike, do you know the number from that without the LTAC funds?
Oh, I thought there was like around 1,000 left.
There's quite a bit. And so the idea is to light up the avenue and to provide something else that would not generate crowds during COVID to start. And then it's just kind of grown from there. So we're going to start with 22 snowflakes. There's 2 snowflakes at each intersection in between 13th Street all the way to Rose. We've chosen a variety of snowflakes, and this is the variety, so that it is a little bit different. And then also we're gonna continue to grow it. So each year as we get donations, we'll add in more snowflakes so that we can hopefully eventually make College Avenue lit. And then even it would be nice to extend it down to the area in Commercial Drive or Meadowbrook, or once we get the area developed across from the high school, extend it all the way down College Avenue would be cool. Just to give the whole theme for the city would be nice. So this was the cost analysis to purchase the snowflakes for College Avenue, the 22 lights. And if we were to purchase it by August 31st, we would get a 20% discount. And we did meet that deadline as far as purchasing the light displays. So we got a mix of all of them, the ones that you just saw on the previous slide. This right here was the pricing costs with the discount if we wanted to choose 22 of each of one particular item. And then in addition to that, we have 5 light poles in the parking lot of this municipal campus. 2 of the poles are twin lights. And so we chose the burst of stars to go right below the twin lights. There's a bar and then the light and then the light. And then these burst of stars goes below each of those 2. And then on the alternate side where the shrubs are, and there's one in front of the fire station, it's going to be these Christmas packages. And so here's the cost analysis for the Christmas package and the burst of stars and the light, and with a 20% discount. And we did order by that date because we were able to get enough money for this through sponsorships and the city moving money from LTAC funds that were allocated for Freedom Festival, and then also moving money that was already in the budget for the other events that have not been able to be held. We're going to purchase either string lights or the web lights to put over these shrubs to give this this effect right here. But we'll probably do white, I believe is what has been decided. This was just an example for you to get an idea. And then we also, depending on how much money we raised, we had other options. I've since found adequate, cheaper than $58,000 for a train or $46,000 for a carousel for a light display. There's one of the other companies has something that's very similar, quite a bit cheaper. And all of these items, these display lights are LED to as far as to help with the cost, and they last longer. They're just a better product. So the other thing that we got was the municipal campus reader board. Something like this, they're building it for our reader board. It'll go just right up here on top. And then as this goes on and we continue to raise money and Lions Park gets renovated, once we've hopefully received all the grants and everything to do that, the idea is to move over to Lions Park and start working on that, just to make College Place a destination for during the holidays so people could come see. And I don't know if any of you have seen the light display that's in Caldwell, Idaho, but people come from all over to go and explore that and see it. It's really cool. And so we're starting in COVID year, very light, very small, to have that goal to increase it. So this is an older older PowerPoint, but we do have more donations. But this is where we started. And yeah, I think that's really it. I mean, I have another spreadsheet as far as that goes. How much the reader board cost. There's other options for the carousel horse, which we did not get the carousel horse and we did not get the display train. But phase 1 was the snowflakes. Phase 2 is the parking lot lights, and then the arborvitae lights in the parking lot. Phase 3 is the municipal campus front lawn if we get to that point, and the bow on the reader board was part of it. So we only got to half of phase 3 because of the funds that have been raised. But it's looking good. So we placed the order for phase 1, phase 2, and the reader board bow, and I'm waiting to hear back from them to see when they are going to come in. Does anyone have questions?
Yeah, when do you plan on putting these up? Like after Thanksgiving or before?
After Thanksgiving, and we're thinking of letting them stay up until probably mid-January.
Oh, good. Okay. Yeah, I really like those. I like all the ideas. I think it's excellent. It'll make our little town very festive.
Yeah. I'm pretty excited for Lions Park. I think that is going to be really cool when we are able to do that.
Yeah, definitely. So that would be more like next year then, I'm presuming.
Yeah, that would end up being next year where we would start that. Originally, I wanted to this year, but the problem is Lions Park as designed doesn't really have like a good electrical grid in it. So, I mean, as it is, we're barely able to use the electric out there. So running that many lights wouldn't be a good thing. It'd be very problematic with extension cords and stuff. So the idea when we renovate the park is that while we have the ground all ripped up, we'll run an electrical system so that way we could light up areas.
So, and
Gotcha.
when that happens, that will also further enhance the farmer's market, because I've had a couple customers and I've seen people coming through who have either walkers or they've got handicap, wheelchairs. They struggle getting through, and grass isn't like concrete.
Right.
It's kind of worrisome. So when that happens in that park, the trail gets all the way around. That's also really going to help the farmer's market.
Yeah. Yeah.
Any other questions?
I think that's good.
Great. Well, we can go to our next item then, which is a library update. And this is just to keep everyone aware of what's going on. We filmed a video that's on YouTube with the branch managers, and it was shared on social media so people are aware. But the library is actually finished. There is books in there. There's internet. So residents could use the internet. There's a free Wi-Fi connection from the parking lot. Because we're still stuck in phase 2, the library itself can't be open yet. So they're doing like curbside book pickup. I'm working with the governor's office to try to convince them to do exceptions to that library rule because we feel they could open up just at a lower capacity. Keeping it closed forever doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. So right now, curbside pickup's going on, but I've had good talks with the governor's office where I think there'll be an announcement to open the actual library itself at a limited capacity, but it will be open. So someone be aware of. And then they're operating pretty much about every day of the week now for the curbside pickup and drop off. They've had suspended because of the smoke, but will be coming back shortly. And the College Place branch has its own Facebook page now. And the branch manager, Chessa Hickox, is actually the wife of the Walla Walla Community College president, and she actually has a library science degree. So it's coming along nicely, and as soon as the governor's office either allows the library to be open at limited capacity or we move to phase 3, whatever comes first, it'll open up. In the meantime, at least people can get curbside services either by calling them or email or even Facebook message. So with that, any questions?
None for me.
Okay.
Not for me either. That sounds good, though.
Great.
Yeah, pretty straightforward, no questions.
Okay. Okay, then we'll go to the next item, which is just development tracker. I will go over this briefly. So a lot of fast food ones are on hold until this recession gets resolved, this whole COVID thing gets resolved. I will say a couple of them are starting to get back on track though. So Project HM, I can actually say who it is now because the money's changed hands. So Project HM, that Hot Mamas, that's like a coffee shop in Walla Walla. They're actually gonna build a facility where the old car wash was at over at 9th and College Avenue. So that is going on. And then Project FM, still interested. Just waiting on us to get the Southwest Sewer done, and we're working through that with the property owners because they want some short plat stuff done first. But USDA financing, we're getting that all in place. And the engineering is actually all done on the Southwest Sewer line, so it is moving. Project BK, that they are still slated to go over by Hop Thief, so they're just on a little bit of a delay, but it will happen. Let's see here, just going through the pages. Page 6, Project Flight, Tarragon is still doing some site planning work around Martin Airfield. They're taking a longer term strategy at it, but there will be things that happen out there. The big challenge out at Martin Airfield, though, is the running of infrastructure, because we do not have wastewater and water immediately adjacent to that site. So that is a little bit of an impediment. Goodwill, they should be starting to turn dirt on that. I would expect probably in the winter time. If you drive past their site on C Street, they actually did put a sign up over the for sale sign that says coming soon Goodwill. So they didn't run away or anything. It is gonna happen. College Place Public Schools, going on page 7. The portables, they're there. So yeah, they exist for whenever we get to a point of having the kids come back to school. Project Food Cart, which is 8th and College site, it's on hold, but there still is an interest. Getting into residential subdivisions, Homestead, they are still going. Contractors work on the roadways. They're actually fixing the stormwater detention basin. And they're starting to work on the road at the tail end of the subdivision, which is second to the last phase. So it's slowly coming along. Page 9, Villages of Fort Walla Walla. I stay in contact with that developer. They still own it. The plan is to get going on it this upcoming quarter here. So they're still planning to break ground this year. I got an email last week on that. So page 10, Stepper Edition, which is basically south of C Street at the dead end of Maple. There's like a little cul-de-sac that was built, Micaiah Court. They continue, Brandon Stepper continues doing work out there, but there are homes built, which is cool. Country Estates, page 11. They are going to build additional mobile units over like where the old Poor farmhouse was at. They're starting to turn in more detailed plans now, so that is happening. Sermon Development, page 12, that's that U-shaped house across from the Wenzel Nursery. That is slated for redevelopment. They're still planning to develop it probably more toward the tail end of the year, but it is still there. Murray Development, some of the properties along 12th Street are selling to other landowners. And then they're still working on plans to basically continue Davis and put some homes going north to south along the new street. Stone Creek Development, page 14. They're just basically what's going to be driving this is when we get the Southwest Sewer done. They're just doing some boundary line adjustment issues and getting some pieces of property ready to be teed up to go. But really, the market's going to come for that as soon as the Southwest Sewer's done. Hamby, that's those apartments up at the crest of College Avenue, south of 12th Street. Those construction continues up there. Rental market's red hot. And then Whispering Creek, if you go on 8th Street toward Lions Park, the cul-de-sac roadway has been built, as have all the infrastructure, and homes continue to be built out there. So that is going as well. The commercial side has been a little sluggish, but the home building side, while the bigger developments are sluggish too, the little infill projects do continue though. So that gives you a little status update on where we're at. Any questions?
Yes, I have a question on the project Hot Mamas.
Yeah.
Is that going to be a drive-through and a walk-in, or is it just a drive-through?
So from what I'm being told right now, it's still in the site plan process. That primarily is a drive-through one.
Okay. Do they have a target date for this?
No.
Okay.
It's still going through it just got turned into site plan. So
Gotcha.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so let's go through a site plan process and the architectural process. Nothing's been really developed yet.
Okay. Any other comments?
Well,
No.
thanks, Kelly.
Okay, then the last item on the action agenda is the EDA grant application. This is for wastewater treatment plant letters support. I have turned it into EDA, but they're still accepting letters of support. So, many businesses have turned in individualized letters, which greatly helps us, but also ones from the advisory body helps too. And what this is basically with this is that that wastewater treatment plant, to do all the phases of it over time, you're talking north of $22 million. We have broken out in sub phases, but interesting grant opportunity arose, which is the EDA grant. Currently, they are grading it, the Economic Development Administration Committee, but with the CARES funding, it actually increases the amount of grant given. So typically EDA will only give like around like 25 to 40% based on the income of the area. And in this case, because it's the COVID CARES money, if this was rated as a worthy project, we could get up to 80% of the total construction cost covered by this grant. which would dramatically help the ratepayers, because anything we don't get with a grant, that ends up boiling down into what you pay in the wastewater rate. And we'd be trying for other grants and loans and stuff, but most what the state gives is a loan, low interest, but still a loan. In this case, this is actually a sizable grant. So we're aggressively going after this because we really have no choice in the matter about the upgrade itself. The state's going after us for this naturally occurring PCB issue they want us to remediate, which basically means that right now we treat our effluent, and then the treated effluent basically some of it gets put on the crop farm out there. Other portions of it go out into Garrison Creek most of the year with the new permit. They actually want us to store the treated effluent basically in a giant hole in the ground we would have to dig for about like half of the year. And then it could be discharged out in a Garrison Creek. But yeah, this just gives you a little flavor for that. So this is just a letter of support from this advisory body, and I can forward it on to them.
Okay, so this is something we need some of our advisory board members here to fill out and get to you. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
so first of all, there needs to be a vote of this body to authorize this. And then what we can do is we actually got this new technology here called DocuSign. So I believe Lisa and Carolyn could actually get this on DocuSign. And I won't even have to run like paper copies of you all. You could actually just go in on DocuSign and sign it digitally.
Okay, so we need a motion to approve this letter. Is that what we're needing?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I've highlighted the motion for what needs to be said.
Okay, so I need to have a motion to submit the letter of support for the grant application to the Economic Development Administration's Public Works and Economic Adjustment Assistance CARES Act funding grant program for the city's wastewater treatment plant upgrade renovation project, please.
Madam Chairman, so
I'm sorry, that cut out on me.
Madam Chairman, so move.
Do we have a second?
I second.
And all is good.
Okay, so with that, Caroline will get the document in DocuSign, and then you could just sign it digitally, and then we could send it onward.
All right, that sounds easy enough.
Yep. Okay, so with that, that is what I have for this meeting. Unless anyone has anything else, that's it.
Okay, I move to have this meeting adjourned, and thank you all for coming.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All right.
Hey,
At 5:51, we're adjourned.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
Yeah.
Good job, Kelly.
I'm learning. I need to take a class on this. Mike, I need you to tutor me when you come
Yeah.
down for lunch, okay?
I could show you I'm down there enough.
I know. Sometime I'll have to sit down with you and we'll go through this.
Okay.
Bye, everyone.
Yep.
Thank you.
See you later.
Yeah, bye.
Bye.